right, let's get to it. We're here Saturday. SAOSIN, Orange County. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves real quick for our listeners and let us know what you play in the band.
I'm Bo. Oh, I am. Sorry, I got my sexy voice on there.
There you go. Yep, you're good.
All right, my name is Bo, and I play guitar in the band.
Nice.
My name is Cove, and I sing for the band.
Nice. All right, well, let's dive into it, guys. Make sure you guys head over to SAOSIN.com to talk about all the stuff that we're going to be catching up on here. I'd like to talk about the early days of the group. It's been almost, I guess, a little over 20 years. You guys formed in 2003. It's kind of funny, right, when that MySpace and social networking was just starting to blossom. Do you guys think about how significant your band was back then 20 years ago as one of the first internet buzz bands? Your debut EP sold over 62,000 copies, no label support, no campaign, just fan-supported shares back in the early days of social media. I mean, what are you guys kind of reflecting 20 years later on that? Does it trip you out?
Yeah. I mean, how could it not? You
Yeah.
know. But it was also just I think we just got extremely lucky. You know. I think that there was so many good bands at the time.
He's saying no. It's all talent.
Well, I mean, you know.
I was a fan, so let him tell you his point of view.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess we get two perspectives.
That's good.
So we get two perspectives. I mean, for me, I was just trying to write the best music that I knew how to do.
Sure.
You know, and at that time, I mean, Friendster, and
I know, right?
Friendster and MySpace, and just kind of like these things that were popping up that were kind of like, or like Razor phones where you could actually send a picture of something.
And I really miss how MySpace used to have a playlist. Like when you hit up their page, it would play a song that you curated.
Yeah.
Like for somebody, and so that was a really cool way to highlight a lot of underground bands and up and coming stuff at the time, and drive traffic.
Yeah,
MP3.com.
Yeah,
the
right?
search on MP3.com is real.
Yeah, and I think we were lucky to kind of maybe be some of the first bands that were maybe I don't want to say victims of influencers.
You were
but,
riding the wave.
We were definitely reaping the benefits of people that would put us like in their top 8.
Yeah.
Or like what kind of music they would listen to, and at that time too. I feel like that was a really beautiful time for music because people were thirsty for music, and streaming wasn't, social media wasn't necessarily shoving 10,000 bands down your throat every minute. So when you did find something new, it was like, whoa, this is cool. A
genuine discovery.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you weren't because I mean, even for me now, it's like, if you scroll through your feed, you're just like, man, skip.
I know, right?
And I feel bad because it's like, man, chances are I'm probably missing out on some really great music.
I know.
But I'm just so
oversaturated.
I'm so overwhelmed by like the assault of spam.
I kind of like the discovery, like you touched on it, like back in the LimeWire and Kazaa days, where like bands that I'd never heard of, with interesting names like yourselves, would pop up, and it would perk your curiosity. You'd be like, I want to check this out.
Yeah.
And I think there was a lot of bands that were up and coming at that time that were independent, and it was just that perfect combination of like curiosity and internet availability that made it like really accessible for all that, right?
Yeah, I mean that's why I say I feel like for us, we did as much as we could to try to write the best music I could, but at a certain point, you birth that thing, and it's
no
really
longer
just
yours,
the luck
right?
of. Yeah.
Well, and that kind of ties in maybe to what you were saying as a fan.
I mean, as a fan, it was like especially being from Southern California, when they started popping off, it was because the music was really good.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if it wasn't good, then people wouldn't have cared. Like
There wouldn't have been a buzz.
There wouldn't have been.
Yeah.
Like people would. I wasn't there. I was supposed to be there at the show with Noise Ratchet in Corona, but it every time.
That was our first show ever.
Very first show.
Like every time I tried to see the band back then, before Anthony and them parted ways the first time, like every show was sold out.
Wow.
There was just this insane buzz, and like
that's killer.
I have this VHS from this little church
Wow.
venue that was in North County, and like
Is that the one where the kids tore down the ceiling?
the whole ceiling
Oh
was
my
just
God.
tiled ceiling, and all the tiles were down. All of like the
Wow.
slats holding the tiles were all like bent out of shape. It was super dangerous, but I have this VHS of it, and it's just the craziest show of all time. The crowd's like in waves coming on top of them.
Oh, that's
just, like,
amazing.
yeah,
Those early days, man.
insane.
Well,
But
let's-
the buzz was real because of the music. The
Yeah.
music was real. you know?
Exactly. It supported. It held the water.
Yeah.
So to speak. All right. Well, you were talking about that couple lineup change over the past 20 years. In March, you shared the new photo confirming both Cove and longtime touring guitarist Phil as full-time members of the band.
Mhm.
What was that like? I mean, what kind of led up to that big announcement? Was there a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff, or was it more of just like a spontaneous, it just happened?
You know, I think it was just personally, I like we were talking about those early days, right? Like
Yep.
in that time, there was mystique.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
and you didn't know, you didn't see pictures of James Hetfield walking down Melrose with like a shopping bag wearing khaki shorts, right? Like you would never see that.
Yeah.
And
The mystique was alive and well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It kept that like that intrinsic nature of like a band that it's hard to like, it gets exploited and spoiled through social media and the optics that we have now. Everybody's got a camera, but back then it was still like something mysterious about those
Yeah.
groups, right?
Yeah, and I think traditionally we've been pretty. Man, I want to say we've been pretty reluctant to do that, but then in the same breath, we were some of the first to do like skits and stuff too. We had a whole series that we were doing called SAO
On
TV.
YouTube?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they were just us. We played like the very first Project Revolution with Linkin Park.
Oh yeah.
And on that tour, we had a camera with us, and we were just like kind of filming stuff that we were doing throughout the day.
That's so cool.
And it was pretty cool. So I guess looking back, we were like doing
pretty
skits.
revolutionary. I
Yeah.
mean, like, with all that stuff on YouTube, and then the like we were saying with how your music got out there,
Yeah.
all that stuff is just like totally mainstream, almost like burned out now.
Yeah.
But back 20 years ago, it was such a fresh and new way of
Yeah.
expressing whatever you were trying to share,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and I think, but tying back into the whole me liking mystique, and like I was just talking about Sleep Token and how cool
Right.
that kind of like mystique is, right?
Yep.
And so, but then on the same hand, or on the other hand, I guess, I do understand that in today's current world, people have a very strong desire to like be able to categorize and put something in a box.
Yep.
And say, I need to know what this is, otherwise I can't, my brain's going to explode.
Yeah, or it doesn't fit on my playlist.
Yeah,
Or I
yeah.
can't find it the easy way that they've made it now,
Right.
right? And it's hard to. I hate that kind of pigeonholing that happens. I work in radio, and it happens all the time, and I'm like, you can't really classify these guys as active rock or
Right.
alternative,
Yeah.
right? Like these these bullshit terms
Yeah.
that they just press on the industry, and they like make everybody just like collectively play along.
Yeah.
And it's BS. And they're like, you guys are one of those groups that I feel like breaks that conformity mold of like an uncategorizable band, but the passion is real, the fan response is real, the talent is real, but they just don't have like this pigeonhole category for you guys.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's great personally.
love that.
I think
Me
it's
too.
great.
right. Well, and to first off, that's like the hugest compliment we've got. That's so
Yeah.
cool.
Thank you.
And to kind of like further that, if you look at the artwork of our original Translating the Name EP, the whole reason why it was white with just the name on it, because I did not want people to, and at that time, right, it was like, well, if you're a metal band, you got to have the metal logo.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're an emo band, you got to have this type of artwork, right? Like Sunny Day Real Estate kind of artwork, right?
Yep.
And I wanted it to be a thing where it was like when you look at it in a CD shop, because that's where you would go to get records at
Yep.
that time, right? You would look at it and you'd be like, what the heck is this?
Yeah.
And it would, and it kind of would. And the band name itself doesn't really lead you to think anything of the music. So
Sure.
it was that kind of curiosity.
The mysterious.
And I wanted people to kind of form their own opinions of what it was.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
So,
You kind of like you said, it's when you birth something as a creative venture, you leave it up for the fans to interpret.
Yeah.
And to leave it almost as bare bones and plain as possible is really cool, because you're just showing it like as raw as it can be.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's
But
really
yeah, to answer your question though, with the photo,
yeah. No, yeah.
it was. I know it was a long. Sorry,
No, that's awesome, though.
long-winded.
I love that.
And with the photo, I think it was just kind of like at a certain point, I think people want to know, okay, if I'm going to the concert, is it going to be Cove or is it going to be
what
Anthony?
to expect.
Yeah, like
That's fair.
and
That's
and it's
as
like
a fan, yeah.
because
and that's cool of you guys to be that, like you said, transparent instead of being mysterious or whatever. Like there's times to be straightforward with the fan base, right?
Well, and it's like I mean, imagine Van Halen, kind of like, and especially when you
Sammy
have,
and Dave or whatever, right?
and especially when you have two singers and one of them won't sing other
Right.
songs from the other
I'll
catalogs.
only do this album or whatever.
Right. So you figure if you're like, well, dude, if it's not Sammy, I'm not going. You know what I mean? So it's like that kind of thing, right? So
I hear you.
I do feel like there is a little bit of, and I always do try to kind of
Bullshit.
right.
Well, let's talk about the co-vocal thing because I think that was cool. I don't know if this is true, but Cove and Anthony going to be sharing vocal duties on this new album. Is that true?
We're not sure yet.
Okay.
So I think, I don't want to say we're similar to Killswitch Engage, but we are in the sense that we have two singers that are great.
And both part of the family, so to speak, and on good terms and everything.
Yeah,
right?
and we just did that
We're all
20
friends.
years.
Yeah, right.
And we just did that 20-year live album where
Right.
we had both singers, and it was like really cool. And so when I saw the Jesse and Howard collaboration track, I was like, oh, I would love to do something like that.
Okay.
So
cool.
So I don't know if we'll do like a whole a split album. To me seems like kind of a little adventurous.
Yeah.
As well as would kind of potentially make it harder for us to like perform those songs.
Pull it off live.
Yeah,
for sure.
So, but I think like one or two collaborations, two at max. One would definitely be cool, like as a collaboration track.
Especially for a single or something.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
That's awesome to kind of signify, hey, we're back and this is what's going on.
Yeah.
This is what's to expect.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. Well, what about plans for 2025? I mean, I know we were just kind of briefly talking about some of those things, recording new albums and stuff, but anything else you guys can share with our listeners on the horizon?
I think new album is mainly our biggest focus. I think we want to try to really start planning ahead and solidifying tours.
Yeah, what about the touring for, are you guys planning on kind of working it, like you're saying,
I
maybe
think
big festivals and stuff again, or are you planning on doing smaller shows?
No, absolutely. We all have careers and families. Cove's a new father. And
nice. Congrats, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so
6 months today.
Right on. Well, happy birthday, little guy.
We try to be considerate of
course,
of that, you know, and trying to put our, as much as we try to put the fans first, we do have to make sure that
family and your mental health and all that comes first, right? And then the fans can appreciate the best from you guys, right?
And on that level too, it seems like sometimes we don't tour as much as we would like, but for us, it's still very, we all have careers on our own, so
gotta take that time.
Yeah, and I would say the takeaway from it is that when we are here, it's because we really want to be here. And it's not like we just have to pay bills and this is our own thing.
Yeah, that's genuine, man.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the fans can respond to that and realize that. So
yeah, I'll post a picture of myself playing guitar and I'll just get razzed so hard by people. They're like, dude, you're just cheesing so hard up there, man. What a dork. And I'm like, I'm literally having the time of my life.
He's having the time of his fucking life.
I'm just having my
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
But to tack on these shows that we've been playing and since coming back, it feels more of like a celebration with all of us together again.
Community.
And that's really special because it didn't feel like that back in the day for me.
Right on.
So to come back and be able to do this again and for it to feel like that, it's
right on.
It's pretty special.
Awesome, guys. Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for this. Real quick about Aftershock. I mean, impressions, feelings about Aftershock as a festival. I know you guys have played a lot of festivals and a lot of big events. How's Aftershock and this weather and this day here out for you guys?
Dude, the weather is beautiful today. I will say I have like a 10-minute story I can tell about what it took for us to get here today.
Oh, really?
I mean, I backed up a bus today.
Really?
I was officially a bus driver.
I'm officially a bus driver.
A new title today.
Dude, it was insane.
He unlocked some XP today. That's pretty
we had
next level.
Leveled up.
Oh, dude, it was insane. So we we played a show last night in Orange County.
Right.
And
hometown show.
Yeah, it was sick.
Sweet.
So and actually, and speaking of the whole appreciating all the different lineup and eras of the band.
Yes.
For 2 songs, we were able to have Pat our original drummer who played on Translating the Name.
Oh, no way.
And then Zach, our original bassist who played on that. So they came out and played 7 years, and they perched with us.
Wow.
So
It was really cool.
That's special, man.
Yeah, it was a
really
special
cool.
moment.
I mean, that's probably the only time that's ever happened in your...
Absolutely.
Yeah. Wow.
So, because from the very beginning, they played on the EP, and then they never got to play a show with us.
Right.
So it's been very
That's
special.
awesome.
Yeah.
But then what happened with,
Dude,
with the tail?
So our transport here was just kind of turned into chaos. We're in between tour managers right now.
Okay.
And that sounds so PC.
That was a peek behind the curtain.
Yeah,
That's
we're in
fine.
between tour managers. So we finished that show and we loaded out, and the bus was located a couple miles away. So Chris and I had to load up all the equipment into our 2 Sprinter vans.
Okay.
And then we had to drive those at
To the bus.
around midnight to the bus. Then we get there, we load it up in the trailer, and then everybody gets in the bus and starts driving. And then there was a huge explosion on the truck had flipped over,
Explosion.
and our driver said he saw a
out
mushroom.
of Terminator 2 movie.
Yeah, like a mushroom
Yeah.
cloud. It was
Explosion,
like
a missile
crazy.
strike. Look,
Bus or
explosion.
a semi truck was on fire and blocked it, so there was a 3-hour
Oh.
delay on the 5 freeway coming up.
Oh, my
And then as
God.
we were pulling in, hey man, I've never driven with a trailer before. Do you think you can back in the bus for me?
Sure.
And I was like, no way. Are you joking with me right
I'm
now?
outside with the lights,
So-
trying to back this fool in.
And yeah, so literally I wake up Cove. I'm like, Cove, you gotta back me in, man. So I'm up there just backing in this bus. And mind you, we're 3 hours late,
Oh
right? We were supposed to be here at 7 a.m. for a sound check. And we're all on no sleep, right? And I will say that one of the things that I do love about a festival, because I handle a lot of our tech
Okay.
stuff
Yeah,
and
yeah.
kind of stage crew stuff.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that I do appreciate is a well-oiled and prompt crew.
Yes. To receive.
Yeah. So and these dudes at the show today are very prompt and very pro.
Nice.
But when you're on the receiving side of being the irresponsible one, it's they're hollering at me just
'Cause you're
"Yo,
late, 3 hours late."
We got 45 seconds, otherwise they're shutting this gate." And I'm like, dude, I've never driven a bus before.
I think as soon as they realized it was the guitar player that was backing in the bus, it was
He's not just the bus
all right,
driver.
mad respect.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? The dude came up to us just
Yeah, hey,
thanks.
you
for
got
being
it
cool,
done, man.
But
well done.
as soon as I heard that though, I actually ran up to 2 other buses and I was like, "Yo, if I give you $100, can you just back our bus in?" And they're just like, "Are you messing with me right now?"
Is
and
this
I
a
was
prank?
like, "No, dude, I need you to come right now." And they're like, "Give me 20 minutes." I'm like, "It can't do it."
45 seconds.
Yeah, and so I sprinted back over and then I just hopped in there and I did it. So I was like,
That's killer,
it was
man.
crazy. But yeah, so far weather's great. I'm super excited to see Judas Priest.
Oh, I
and
know, right?
Iron Maiden tonight.
Lorna Shore.
Lorna Shore.
Lorna Shore.
Austin Archie on the drums. Oh, my God.
Bad Wolves.
Yep.
And then I think POD is playing today too.
I think they're playing
Yeah.
about
Yep.
right
So-
Yeah, 4 or 5 or something.
As well as the million other bands that we're excited to see that my brain is just in.
I know.
Apparently I'm a bus driver this morning and I feel like I'm in this sleep deprived fog, right?
Yes, yeah.
You know, when you're just on 4 days
Yeah,
of
you're
no
just
sleep,
coasting, man.
and you're like, I'm gonna
You're
look
running
back
on
this.
fumes.
So
you know what's also cool is Bo might go to bed at 8:30 right after our
Yeah.
set. He might see half of Judas and then
Yeah.
pass out.
Yeah.
And then the bus driver's gonna have to wake his ass back up again to back out our
Brutal. Oh, my God. It's going to cycle will repeat.
Yeah. So guaranteed, on Monday, I'm probably gonna send a text and be like, "Yo, what time do we load in for Aftershock?" Because I think I had a dream we were already there.
It's already passed, man.
Yeah.
Straight up.
But no, I'm stoked to play tonight. It's gonna rip.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for taking this time. Make sure you guys check it out, SAOSIN.com, SAOSIN.com. SAOSIN. I'm dyslexic.
SAOSIN.com.
Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.